So I need some advice. I'm dealing with a crazy person that works in my apartment. She's a leasing agent, and she has been sabotaging my husband and I for the past couple months. And it's gotten worse ever since we tried to do our facilitate a lease takeover or adding someone to the lease so we can get out of here. So basically, when I first met her, I thought she was cool, like a quirky lady. Like, I like outspoken women because, I'm like a little bit quiet, so opposites attract kind of thing. And I thought she was so cool that I matched her up with one of my friends. They're around the same age, I believe, in like their 60s or something. And she was irritated by it later. And I realized that she liked much younger men, but it was weird because when she saw my husband and I, and there's a slight age difference, okay, um, she was like, I think people in such relationships are losers because they can't find someone from their own age group. Meanwhile, she has the hots for my husband that's like close to 40 or 35 years younger than her. So I just knew that she was a hater, but actually the real problem started when she saw my husband and I like signing like the lease together downstairs. When she first saw him, like she couldn't talk, right? It was just like she was awestruck for a second. And I moved here first, but my husband, he moved here later. And after like we did our paperwork and everything, he went upstairs. I kind of stayed behind because I'm like cool with the leasing people. Usually I just wanted to ask for a couple other things. And she said something like, wow, he's so handsome, I'll gladly take your leftovers. And I was dumbfounded. Like, you work here, that's so unprofessional, and that's really weird that she would say that. How she's insinuating, especially calling newlyweds like their spouse, like soon to be leftovers, okay? And then after that, she became like increasingly passive aggressive towards me, and I kind of figured like it was some jealousy thing because she wasn't like that before. Like, she was kind of edgy, but then she was like getting more aggressive and like passive like rudeness, okay, towards me. And a couple weeks after that, my husband, he came up to me. He was like, hey, I just want to let you know, I waited for a bit because I don't want to piss you off. But when I was down there by myself, like she's always trying to come by and touch me, like touch my arm and everything. And about a couple weeks ago, she was like, how's the marriage? In like some suggestive weird way, and was like rubbing on his arm and stuff. And he was like, we're fine. Like, what the fuck? That was really weird and disrespectful. And I didn't want to say anything because I knew like me confronting her about that would just give her some type of power. But I had to say something later because she was just getting out of hand about stuff. Like, if I submit a work order, she'll try to downplay it. Or I had an issue in my apartment. She was like, oh, it's your fault. Like she was being rude, like mean too. And she was like that in front of the manager, the manager is a nice woman, but she doesn't believe that people can be intentionally like mean and stuff. So she just like kind of forgot about it, whatever. And then so I confronted this woman, okay, the one that's been harassing us. And I was like, hey, I appreciate you guys like trying to do the paperwork and everything for us, like as a lot of people are applying, whatever. But it's just so weird that, folks are interested and they don't want to apply anymore, but I know like everyone's trying hard. So thank you. But also my husband, he said that you came up to him asking about our marriage. Like, we just got married. That's a weird question to ask. And, he didn't appreciate like you touching his arm like that. Like, it was just uncomfortable. So, like, we're fine. And then she's like, no, it wasn't me. I didn't say that. And this is so weird. Like, this woman is in her 60s and she lies like she's a teenager or something. And she's like, no, I didn't say that. Like, the manager said that, because she's about to get married and she's wondering, like, what's a marriage like? What's married life like? And I'm like, no, he specifically said the older woman, and he said your name. And he's pretty damn smart. Like, I don't think he would confuse that. And so she couldn't look me in the eyes the entire time, right? She could not look in my eyes when she said that because I knew she was lying. And I was like, yeah, I just wanted to, check in on things, and, everything's good here. I just like appreciate you guys helping us. And I left it at that. But then after that was when things got really weird, because she found out that I was putting the listings for our place on Craigslist and also Facebook. And as soon as she found out, because she was like, "Oh, where are you guys advertising?" I by this time I didn't think that she was like a threat, whatever. I didn't think that she would be this aggressive, but I told her that it was on Craigslist and it had been there for almost a month. And then 2 days after I told her, my listings were flagged and removed, and I was just like, "This is wild." Okay. And I just felt like it was probably her, but then I just didn't think about it too much because I didn't have solid proof. But when I went downstairs and she saw me, that woman like literally jumped. She looked so nervous. And I was like, okay, this is something going on. This is really weird. And so I went to the manager, because she also did something else. Like, there was another woman who really wanted this place. She applied, but then like when she got the form, it wasn't like the normal application that you send out to residents who want to do a lease takeover or a sublease. It was like this random bogus form that you send to landlords or a different company. It wasn't even the same color. And so when I just felt like this woman was literally sabotaging us trying to get out of here. And so I went to the manager about it, and she was shocked about the stuff that I told her. And she was even shocked that she sent out that form, because this woman had been in leasing business for like years, okay, decades. And she sent something like that. She's like, I can't believe she did that. So I'm just going to research and see if she sent it to other people. Fast forward a week later, okay, she didn't research. I don't think she did. She didn't tell me anything if they had checked to see if she had sent other stuff to residents that wasn't the correct form, okay. And when I actually did bring someone to the office with me to apply, she was racist and kind of rude to this Hispanic family. And she was, it was just so embarrassing. And the father in the family, he had to come up and stand really close to her, like, "What's up? Like, why did you say that?" Like, she was just so dismissive towards them. And then she later said that he was a baby daddy or something, but that was actually the husband. Like, they were a nice, decent couple, but unfortunately they weren't approved for the apartment. I wonder why. And so today I brought someone else to the apartment, and he signed downstairs, and she looked so pissed off when she saw him there. And I'm like, yeah, he's here for a lease takeover. She's like, a lease takeover? You can't do that here in Texas. Like, especially for this company, they won't let you do a lease takeover. Your name has to be on the lease until next May. And I'm like, no, we talked about lease takeover, and also the manager recommended for me to do a lease takeover with someone. So here he is. He's eligible. And then like she like begrudgingly gave him the form and everything. And when I went by there later to take the guy, because he didn't have a car, so I was just going to take him down the street, whatever. She saw me, she's like, "Oh, like, you really can't do that." I'm like, "What do you mean? A lease takeover is only like a roommate thing, I'm like, "No, I was told to do the lease takeover." And then she's like, "Yeah, by the way, you just want to be careful because your husband, he actually sent an email to us about like something else that he wanted us to do." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "But you don't have to tell him or anything. I'm just letting you know, but just make him take a backseat." But of course, I tell my husband everything. And so I asked him, like, "Why did you send an email? Like, we're trying to get this process moving." He's like, "Girl, I did not send an email. Like, what are you talking about?" And then, like, literally she lied and was telling me not to tell him to cover her tracks, and then try to sow some type of some type of argument between us or something, whatever. And I knew that this is getting kind of serious. Like, now she's sabotaging our relationship, and then also the apartment, and like some other stuff. And even when I confronted her about like how the applicants were getting like these weird forms, she's like, "Oh, that's so weird. Like, well, how did that happen?" Everyone knew it was her. The manager actually told her to send it. Like, it was so obvious, and it's no way that she could make a mistake on that. So, and also when I told the manager wavered and told her. And so when I came by the next day and stuff, like, she left her office, went outside to meet me in the parking lot, and aggressively said, was like, "Oh my goodness, are you okay? I know you must be really stressed out with no one wanting to get the apartment." So at this point, I think I'm just going to get like some legal help or something, especially if this guy is not approved, because I don't trust her doing the paperwork. What would you guys do?